Welcome to the Play-Based Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen R.B. Peterson, and maybe your new teacher bestie that is here to hype you up, maybe give you a motivating kick in the pants, and teach you all I know about play and childhood. I am here to help you challenge old and outdated practices and inspire you to create a truly developmentally appropriate early childhood environment that fosters creativity, curiosity, and joy in the children that you care for. Let's set the stage for a lifelong love of learning. Let's get going. Welcome to the Play-Based Learning Podcast. I'm Kristen, and I have Kelly Rose, a child development specialist. Kelly Rose CDS on Instagram with me tonight. How are you, Kelly?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me. We are going to be chatting about, maybe just tell us about you and kind of what's on your heart tonight, and then we'll go from there.
I currently own my preschool and am lead teacher at my preschool. I've been doing preschool for 15 years now. I started out in public education, and so I have my preschool special ed degree and gen ed.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've spent many years writing many IEPs. I've probably written over 130 IEPs.
Oh my, I've never written an IEP, FYI.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about them.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you have.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you like top of mind what's coming up for me. So when I travel around and speak, I get the question a lot. Statement, like it's kind of a statement question. Like I teach children. They'll say like I have a lot of children that have autism that just circle around the room and they don't engage in anything. They don't know how to play. I have this child who doesn't know how to play. And I have my own response to that, but I would love to hear your response to that as a early childhood special education teacher.
So first, I would say there are 6 stages of play, and you need to read up on those because each child is playing.
Yes.
Just doesn't look like play to you.
Yes.
Um,
That's exactly how I answer it too, FYI.
Good. Good.
The stage, like they may not be progressing through the stages of play as quickly or on where you're like a neurotypical child would be at a certain age. They might be 4 years old, but still be really enjoying unoccupied play or really be into onlooker play. And
Yes.
it doesn't look like play to you because you aren't seeing the you're not seeing the cooperative play, which is
Right.
what neurotypical 4-year-olds are doing. They're cooperative and associative play where they're making up games
Yes.
together and they're doing imaginative play and they're dramatic play and they've got the mom and the dad and the grandpa and the grandma. Like that's what you're hoping to see, but
Yes.
that's not necessarily the stage of play that child is in. And I think what really riles me up, and maybe you can speak to this as somebody who's written a ton of IEPs. I've had the question come up, well, on their IEP, their goal is to be able to play cooperatively with another child for this set of time, like this set amount of time. And I just want to scream because,
That is not an appropriate goal for that child.
right,
Mhm.
like we're missing the other stages of play before this that
Yes.
they might be interested in. So elaborate more on that for people.
So that to me is I don't care what age your child is. Um, yes, I get it. At the end of preschool, you hope that they are in cooperative play, and that's the goal. But there was one year that I had a child who developmentally was about 6 months when
Yeah,
she left preschool. Like, you're not expecting a 6-month-old to do that.
no.
And that's hard to wrap your mind around. Like, okay, yes, this child is the size of a preschooler, but really they're 6 months. So this is what I'm expecting them to do.
Yeah.
Um, and it's perfectly okay to have preschoolers leave you not playing cooperatively yet.
Yes.
I mean, if
Yes.
they're on an IEP, if they're not developmentally where they should be, they are probably leaving on an IEP to kindergarten as well.
Yeah.
So they're not expecting them to be at the level of a kindergartner.
Right. Who generally writes IEPs? Like, who is it who writes it?
So that kind of depends on each school
Okay.
and each school district as to how, like there was one year that I've worked at three different school districts as a special ed preschool teacher. So um, my first year, the preschool teachers from the school district, there were three elementary buildings. So we took turns. They had like a once a month, like people from the community would bring their kids and we do a screener. And so we took turns doing the screener, and then based on the information from that, and then working with a school psychologist, um, if the child qualified for an IEP, whoever did the screener was writing it. Didn't matter which classroom they went to.
Okay.
I feel like that's fairly typical. For the places that I've been, that's fairly typical. The last place I was, um, we had a lot of kids come to us from early intervention. I don't know if you're familiar with that,
Mm-mm.
but early intervention is birth to age 3. So
Okay.
these are kids that potentially, like, they might have speech, they might have physical therapy or occupational therapy, or maybe it is developmental. And then once they turn 3, it has to change from their plan, which is called an IFSP, and then they have to switch and get tested to see if they qualify for an IEP.
Okay.
Um, but because where I was at the time, I was in on the same campus as the early intervention service providers. So a lot of the times we would kind of chat, but it was still up to the school district as to who wrote that IEP and who was at that meeting. Um, I just got really used to having all of my IEPs in the fall because I didn't like 90% of the goals that I was getting were not appropriate. So I was just rewriting them at the beginning of the year.
Mm. And that just puts so much extra work on the teacher.
Yeah,
Like,
it
mm,
does. But after a couple of years at my last placement, the other preschool teacher and I talked with the school psychologist and the other preschool teachers, like, okay, if we think these kids are coming to us, can we write these IEPs?
yeah,
Because we knew what we wanted for our classrooms
yeah.
and for our play-based philosophies. And most other preschool teachers will let you write their IEPs if you ask, because it's a
Yeah.
lot of work. It really
Yeah,
is.
it is. I don't
Um,
know. I've never written one, but I'm assuming that it is based on what people have told me before.
yeah, it's a lot, but it is what it is. So,
Okay, so what are some very, very common play-based IEP goals? Like, what are some examples?
so a lot of, and the goal of an IEP is that it's an individualized
Yeah.
plan. So we always called them, you're not supposed to have cookie cutter goals. They're not goals that I should see three of the same kids having. But the general idea, for me, a lot of them was they will engage in whether it's associative play, cooperative play, whichever stage they aren't quite in yet, but are almost there.
Yeah.
So say somebody's in parallel play
Yeah.
when we're doing the screening. So they'll engage in associative play for 5 minutes. And then so
Hmm.
that's the goal, and then there are objectives underneath. So it's
Okay.
parallel play, and then like following some back and forth between the teacher, and then there's back and forth with the peer, eventually getting to that associative play.
Okay.
Um,
Why? Oh, keep going.
so I the other preschool teacher, when I last worked at this place, she went through this training. It's called Play Project,
Okay.
um, which has to deal with autistic children
Hmm.
and playing with them. And so, like I said, I didn't get the official training, but I kind of did because she went through it and we talked a lot.
Hmm.
So that helped a lot with writing goals for children who are autistic because
Okay.
that's different. Just because you're
Interesting.
right, they almost always lack that social engagement.
Yeah.
So it's very different writing a goal for them.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Why, okay, so why in so many schools do you think that children's IEP goals are not play-based? Like they're not based on the stages of play and
Hmm.
where the development is within those stages of play.
I honestly think a lot is because they've become very curriculum driven.
Okay.
There's a lot of push down from
Yeah.
kindergarten to get them ready.
Yes, in air quotes.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love to get children ready for kindergarten.
Yeah. Um,
I mean, I do really, but if you do it in a play-based way, that's what's
yeah.
developmentally appropriate, right?
I also think a lot, I mean, even when I went to college and I graduated college, what, 15 years ago? Like I wasn't taught play.
I wasn't either.
So I don't think they're being taught play. And if you're not being taught play and you're not seeing other classrooms teach through play,
Yeah,
that's really hard.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Um, when okay, so now when you were in college, so I'm sure the answer is no to this too, but when you were taking your special education classes, is there any sort of anything about play?
No,
Was there for you? No.
no.
I know that there are colleges out there teaching play,
Yeah.
but the one I went to didn't.
Right.
And all colleges can kind of make up
Mhm.
their own whatever to get your degree.
Yes. And
Yeah.
my understanding, and not that I've talked to a ton of people who work in colleges, but you're more likely to get, um, I guess, a college education more about play is when you go to a community college and get an associate's degree.
Really?
Yeah, that surprised me too. And I was like, well, that makes no sense to me, but okay.
Yeah, you would think with a bachelor's degree, you would have more time to really dive into the
Yes.
different philosophies. I remember having a class in college about the different, like everybody had to research, like you had to pick a different philosophy of early childhood education, whether it's Reggio or
Hmm.
Montessori or Waldorf and you had to like study it and then present on it. I don't remember anybody doing anything that was like fully play-based.
No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, we did have some classes on the brain in the special education classes I took, and those were super interesting. But again, nothing play-based.
What would you say? Okay, so um let's say you have a first year preschool teacher and they're going into a classroom where it's like an inclusion classroom
Okay.
where they have, like half, like 50% children who have autism and 50% neurotypical children.
Mhm.
Like what what advice would you give them?
Um, Become very friendly with the other service providers.
Okay.
So if you're in a classroom with that's half your children are autistic, there's going to be speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy,
Yeah.
if not some others. Work with them. Um, I got really lucky the 1 year, and it was we probably had a solid team for 4 years that none of the therapists left, none of the teachers left.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
it was amazing. And so the occupational therapist, everybody, they were much more play-based as well. Um, so that made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So definitely work with them. You're all there to help these kids. Um,
Yeah.
and like I always told the therapist, honestly, they need what you're going to give them because they see you once a week. They need what you're going to give them. So I was very flexible with come take them whenever you can fit them in your schedule.
Hmm.
Um, I know not everybody can be that way, and depending on what school, like where you're placed at your school, you might have a very rigid schedule
Yeah.
based on your building. Um, but that, and then find somebody, whether
Yeah.
it's another preschool teacher, whether it's the high school special ed teacher, whether it's the school psychologist, somebody who's going to kind of understand and be able to help. That makes a huge difference too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, for somebody who's never written an IEP before, What advice do you have for them?
So I remember my very first IEP meeting. So in my college classes for special ed, we're all like the IEP is a team document. We're all gonna, you're all gonna work together and decide on things. So I very naively go in with my notebook and my pencil and my computer because the program's on there. I'm like, all right, we're gonna write this IEP. I have this section done because I know this section, but I have no goals written. And they're like, no, you come in with goals written. And I was like, oh, so it's not a team document? So it is, but not the way I thought it was a team
Okay.
document.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And so you're writing these goals for kids, ideally kids in your classroom. So you need to write something that's going to work for the child, obviously, but also for you and your classroom.
Okay.
So sitting for 10 minutes, probably not a good idea in preschool because that's not developmentally appropriate for the
No.
child.
No.
Um, it just it really depends. And I also thankfully have not had any overbearing principals or special ed supervisors. They've all been okay with pretty much anything I've written. Um, I I know there can be some out there, so there might be some hoops you have to jump through and some things that you just have to say yes to.
Mhm.
Um, but it shouldn't be that way. Um, yeah, writing your first IEP is hard. Because you don't know what you don't know,
You
and
don't. You
it's
don't know
always
what you know, don't know till you know what you know, right?
right. And it's
Yeah,
always been theory before that, so it's scary as well. And yeah,
absolutely. What resources would you recommend for somebody who is getting ready to write their first IEP or who wants to get better at writing IEPs or wants to know more about,
yeah.
I don't, can you get better at writing an IEP? I don't even know.
It's kind of like riding a bike. You just get better with practice.
Yeah.
Um, but again, just so if you have kids in your classroom and like you're arriving to this classroom and these kids already have these IEPs, obviously you can read over them. They might not be any good, but you're also learning that way.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, as far as resources, I mean, I am going to host a Zoom class on writing some play-based IEP goals.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That could be so super helpful for people who are just kind of lost or are just I think it could be super helpful. Like, I'm thinking of the people who ask those questions when I go out and speak. Like, okay, the goals that we have on these children's IEPs are just not cutting it. Like, but I don't
Mhm.
know I don't know enough about play in order to write play-based IEP goals. Like, this is gold for people.
I hope so. That's my goal. Yeah, it needs to work for the kids and for the teachers, and we all know that play is the way. So,
Absolutely. Yes,
yeah.
I feel there like I just feel so much. I don't know. I like there's in my heart, I just want uh, every child to be able to play and to be honored in the stage of play that they're in, even when it doesn't look like play to the adults,
Yes.
even when it's not the type of play an adult. We just have to sometimes take off those stodgy adult goggles and like just let children have their childhood. Like we're
Yes.
just rushing them through and trying to get them to the next stage continuously without embracing the stage that they're in.
Mhm.
And do you feel with IEPs that we're continually pushing to the next stage and not actually sitting in the moment ever?
Some, yes. And that was one of the things that if you're pushing to the next stage constantly, there are going to be holes.
Yeah,
And that's so for the further down the road you get, if there's holes in the foundation, eventually something's going to fall.
right,
And so that's some of these IEP goals are to fill those holes.
right.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think IEPs are helpful?
Yes. Um,
You're like,
Again,
yes, and
yes, and they are helpful if they are written developmentally appropriately, and with the play-based goals. So the first couple years I was writing IEP goals, did it help the kids? Yes. Was it the best help for the kids? No.
Yeah,
By the end, yes, I think they were absolutely helping. We were
good.
meeting our goals throughout the year. Like it works.
Okay. And you are going to be hosting some classes to help people with
I
that. Can
am.
be super helpful. Where can people find you to connect with you?
So I'm on Instagram, Kelly Rose CDS, and then I have a stand store. It's Kelly Rose CDS stand store as well. I will be hosting this Zoom on the stand store site, so on my site. Um, I also have a Becoming a Play Detective, the 6 stages of play. That is a free
Amazing.
course on my site, so check that out.
Amazing. We'll put the link in the show notes for sure.
Perfect.
If somebody is listening to this after you've hosted the Zooms, like the live Zooms, will they still be able to take advantage of the information somehow?
Absolutely. I plan to record them and have them on the site as well.
Amazing. Wonderful. Okay, we'll put that link in the show notes so people can find out more and connect with you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I think that like the biggest takeaways are for me, like know the stages of play
Yes,
and know that children progress through them at different times.
absolutely.
And it completely depends on your brain and body makeup to what stage you're going to be at what age. And
Mhm.
wherever a child is at is fine. It's what
Yes,
they're meant to be and embrace it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly, for being here. I appreciate you and the work that you're doing.
absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you liked what you heard today, share this podcast with your coworkers, admin, or maybe even your partner. And I love getting 5-star reviews so more people can embrace play. Hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or connect with me on Instagram or my website, KristenRBPeterson.com. Until next time.